And we are live. Welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lantz. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, once again, tell the folks about the people that sponsor this podcast.
The good people of Wanna Parlay, Lambs, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every week people are turning in $2 into $2,000. God dang it, I need to change that. It's every day people are doing that, which, by the way, I need to bring it up. The Parlay Royale isn't getting enough foot traffic. People, opportunities, money to be made. But we're not even just a couple days. We're at the midway point of this one a week, and people are already crushing it. We talked about on Tuesday, guys that already turned in $2,200 of winnings. The pick 7, pick 6 the last couple of days have gotten sleepy. When football games go away, that's what happens. Long Legs got sick of waiting for his main event money to clear because that's all but guaranteed to him. So he just clipped off a first and second win in the pick 5. Good enough for $375. By the way, Dialed Picks won that contest on Tuesday night. So the kid stays hot, wins another $300. We'll let you know when it hits 20 grand for him because we're going to sound some alarms and we're going to fly there and give him a purple jacket. That's going to be a fun day. The pick 4, Truckin' Fast 88. What's up, new guy? First time seeing that name. Good to see you in the winner's circle. First and second, good enough for another $375. Good to be good, Truckin' Fast. Parlay Royale, nobody since Monday. I brought it up right just 2 seconds ago. $1,000 prize. People get on that shit. $1,000 prize. People aren't hitting it. Go after it consistently. It's what I'd spend my life doing. And then the main event, the leaderboard remains very much unchanged. We talked about it Monday night. Just the absolute clinic Long Legs put on. What a dog. Go look at his account, people. The guy went 27 for 27 on 3 set parlays Monday night. Probably a good guy to tail if you're searching for good picks here. And then a reminder to everybody, the VIP contest is open and stays open until Christmas Day. Winners taking themselves and a friend to the NHL Winter Classic at Wrigley Field on New Year's Eve. A hell of a way to spend a New Year's Eve. This is the 4th time Juana has offered the VIP contest, and we say it every single time we do it because every single time it has been true. This is far and away the coolest thing Juana has ever offered, which means it's far and away the coolest thing anybody's ever offered. It's $2 to get yourself a chance. I would take that swing if I were you. Unfortunately, I'm not. I just run the podcast. I'm not around to play. And then regardless, I saw somebody, so it's worth bringing the update to the VIP contest. OSO Rated DR. OSO Rated R is how I'm choosing to pronounce that thing. OSO Rated R. Currently leading with a monster 196.85 multiplier. That's a hell of a bar, people. But if you go look at some Dialed Picks cards, you look at some Long Legs cards, this is doable, and it's absolutely worth taking a swing at. $2 gets you this thing that should cost 10 grand. Hell of a way to spend a New Year's Eve. Get over to Wanna Parlay as soon as this podcast ends and get yourself into that contest. It's going to close on Christmas Day. And that brings us to the show, and we have to start with accountability hour, Lance. And frankly, I feel a little bit cheated.
Jack, I mean, you go in because you're technically the accountable one here, but I have my words about that Cal game.
So we're 1-2 so far. We started hot with the West Virginia backdoor. West Virginia got down early against Memphis, got some texts, got some people talking a little trash. Then West Virginia had a hell of a second half, a hell of a fourth. Loses by 5, 42-37, I believe. So we cover that +6, feeling good. Then you're talking last night, we had Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers playing James Madison. I was all over the Hilltoppers +7, thought it was way too much to be given them. They were up 14-7 at halftime. We were looking real good and then just could not find the end zone at the end. We threw a lateral, ball behind the line of scrimmage that gets picked up in our own territory. Everything that could go wrong did for us in the second half. So yes, I'm bitter. Had a chance to hit it late too on a 4th and 10 and missed a wide open guy. At the very least, Lance, we would have hit the field goal there and pushed, but alas, we're 1-1 through that point. And then Cal was supposed to save us and bring us into the show as winners. Had them +3, and it was actually 3.5 at kickoff in the Art of Sports LA Bowl hosted by Gronk. That was super unfortunate. That was a bummer. We were sitting there at 14-13, at 10-7. It felt like, honestly, we had the better team. UNLV pulled off all the bowl game moments you see. They hit a shot play on a long 3rd down. They hit the fake punt that goes for 80 yards and score on the next play. It was troubling, but it still felt like we had the better team. I felt good going to the second half. And then our starting quarterback for the game, who was the 3rd string quarterback entering the season, gets hurt. And when we get down to our fourth string guy, it's just a lot of hoping and praying at that point. It wasn't good enough to deliver our Bears. So we sit here 1-2, but do not bail on us. I feel good. I think we've seen the games right. I don't think, it's easy to see it when you're gambling on it, but I don't think I've walked in any game and felt like I've been punched in the face. I felt like I've had good teams, and these games have gone to the fourth quarter where I'm hoping for the back door at least. But this is what happens with sometimes some kooky bowl games. But I'm just saying, do not bail on us. We're seeing it right. We're seeing it good. We got a favorite going tonight. So exciting stuff.
Before I get started, I just want to shout out KG Little Joe's as he pops up in the chat once again. You're a legend. And he says, Dowd Picks just got Devin Hester at Wanna Parlay. They changed the tourneys because of him. What a call out, KG. What a call out. But yeah, Jack, you were right. I thought you were right on the money in both games. Especially, I didn't get to see as much as in the JMU game, and I only saw kind of the score, and I thought we were in a good spot at half, and that was just a brutal. I don't know what happened there. You know more. But the Cal game, man, what the hell? Like, you were right. It was Cal. Cal was the play. And if that starting quarterback, the third string guy, if he makes it through the whole game, he wins that game. I believe he was playing well. He was actually a competent quarterback. Now that fourth string, and I get it, fourth string quarterback on Cal football, how good could you really be? My God, was he just the game? It looked like he'd never played quarterback before. I mean, he's throwing swing pass. He couldn't play catch. He couldn't get the ball past the line of scrimmage.
I'm confident that kid didn't know every play of the game plan. I'm confident they had their own call sheet for that kid. And even when he was running the plays, I'm sure he was second guessing on what exactly he had on any given play. You're not supposed to play as the fourth string guy.
No.
This is a live and learn, get in shape, have some fun at college this year. And he was thrust in to save our lives, and he let us down. I will say, what an opportunity for the kid.
Hey,
go get yourself a quarter and a half of football against UNLV. Go ball out. Who knows what the transfer portal will do for you? Quarterbacks are highly sought after.
Yeah,
also, you go ball, you might have a home.
Yeah, and I'll say, his first couple plays, I mean, right when he took the snap, he might have just tucked it right away. He was trying. He had heart. He had a spin move. I mean, he's doing everything he can, but my God, he couldn't take he can't drop back and see anything. I don't even want to dog on him because it's like you're the fourth string quarterback at Cal. I don't expect much out of you.
He gave us what he could. And third string guy was great. The Ohio transfer was pretty solid for us.
Yeah.
I thought Jalen Ott's a hell of a player. He's going to be a really good pro running back for Cal. I did not leave that game going, oh, UNLV is fucking 10 points better. I was like, oh, fucking.
Okay. 100%. But listen to this. So I've tailed you wholeheartedly. I believed in Cal. I was there. I'm on +3 through a minor whale, not too much. I didn't want to ruffle too many feathers over a meaningless bowl game. Once I saw the first series of that fourth string quarterback, and UNLV went down and scored, I live bet UNLV. I said they're gonna win by 2 possessions. They gave me 8.5 was the live line for some weird reason. I don't know why. Just got in at -8.5, and I said, this kid will not move the football. This kid is not the hero. This thing is over. So I did make back some money. But dude, that's how brutal this was. It was such a night and day difference. You were right, and I'm confident in our picks going forward, or your picks going forward for bowl season. So that was just brutal. That was sick work.
Good move by you. Way to move. Way to sense the tremor in the force and get.
So quick. It was so quick. I was like, just get away from this guy. Does not belong in Division I football right now. Now maybe he has a great career. I don't know. I wish him the best, but we're moving on because I don't want to.
I wish him well. Well, we got another bowl game going tonight, but before we get back to college football action, we've got a big time NFL game coming tonight and some NFL plot lines probably worth discussing. Lance, anything you want to cover?
Yeah, I was honestly planning kind of on a big rant here. I was going to go in and rant, but I don't think there is much to rant because I think it's known. Josh Allen's the NFL MVP. I don't think it's close to anyone else. I know Lamar's having a great season. Yes, he got in the offseason, Derrick Henry joined that roster and his stats are better. A player joined and he got better. Jared Goff. I mean, this guy has an electric offense and roster around him, and he does a great job being a game manager and putting the ball where it needs to be the right time. He's a timing guy. Burrow, his record, that's just tough. I don't know what to tell you. You just don't have the defense or the roster to win games like the Bills, and that affects you in the MVP race. But yeah, no, Josh Allen, after losing Stephon Diggs and just having his best statistical year by far, and the numbers he's putting up and how it translates to wins, like this guy's just looks like a winner all season long. I don't think it's close, Jack. The NFL MVP is locked up. Josh Allen, good for you.
Yeah, we're entering this point of the media cycle where I think it's now so clearly Josh Allen, and the sports books reflect that too. But the conversation has now shifted to who's the MVP, to like who belongs in the conversation. So it's like we're trying to give Jalen Hurts some late flowers here because it's like they're 11-2, and oh, look at all that he's overcome with the locker room issues and his head coach and you name it. But he's played like shit this year. And then I can go through guy for guy. You know, Lamar is the only other guy that I think worthy of a debate here. Jared Goff, unbelievable season, so good for football that he's succeeding. That style of quarterback, that we still have multiple ways of getting it done back at that most important position. It's going to get weird if this league becomes all one-sided real quick. So nice that we have an immobile quarterback who's dialing it up still, and that's still, you know, there's still a path for immobile quarterback, to know where to go to the ball. Then you go through who's the other one you had down here? Burrow. Burrow is having an unreal year. At times he's had to put on a Superman cape and just will teams through it. And so in spots, actually, I don't think he's taken enough of the blame for some of their losses. If they could just get one stop against Baltimore, their first round through, 100%, you know, Joe Burrow played his ass off in that game. But that game was won if he doesn't throw a late pick, you know, and it's a season where he's throwing a lot of picks because given the way the defense is played, he's got to go push the ball downfield to be aggressive. The only way to win is go shot for shot with teams. So I get it, but it's not an MVP season for Burrow. I thought he had that season when they ended up going to the Super Bowl. And then the only guy you don't have on this list worth bringing up would be Patrick Mahomes, but obviously it's been sleepy. It's just so impressive that he's able to do it again and again and again. It's what happened with Tom Brady, where you almost accept it as a given, so that when it happens, you're not impressed by it anymore. You're almost more distressed, like when they lose. That's the surprise, and therefore we jump all over that. But the winning for Patrick Mahomes is unbelievable. And if I could place money today, it would still be on the Kansas City Chiefs, but the juice ain't worth the squeeze because they're still the favorites. Josh Allen MVP, 100%. One more cherry on top, and I think you already said it, Lance, but like, it's rare when you watch a game where it's so clearly that he's their best player. You know, so many of these offense on any given night when you watch the Eagles, Saquon Barkley deserves a place in this conversation possibly too. But, you know, they spread around. I think A.J. Brown's a more important player for them than Jalen Hurts. You take away the intangibles, just what they get on Sundays. I think A.J. Brown's a better player. He would go higher in an overall draft here if we were ranking guys. So when you watch the Bills, they go as Josh Allen goes, and it's fucking unbelievable. He's such a good player. He's having his best year ever. Looks like they got a chance potentially here late, Lance, with 3 weeks to go. Kansas City still needs to win 2 games because the Bills own the tiebreaker. So Kansas City playing the Texans, playing the Broncos late in the year in a must-win. They play somebody else that's pretty decent too. They on this bum ankle still have to go win 2 games here. So interesting plot line to follow there. If that game has to go through Buffalo this season for the Bills, they've figured it out offensively. Hell of a year for Joe Brady too, the offensive coordinator, formerly Joe Burrow's offensive coordinator at LSU.
Wow. I actually didn't know that. That's good stuff. That's good information. But yeah, Josh Allen's a monster, man. Like, this guy, it's given me 2015 Cam Newton vibes. Like, he's just far and away just a beast. Like, he'll run through you, he'll throw over you, he can make the trick play, he can do everything right now. Don't get me wrong, obviously Mahomes is great, but I'm just saying this year, Josh Allen's the MVP.
I think perfect comp there on 2015 Cam Newton, by the way.
Yeah.
Perfect comp.
Just like,
you know, I could erase a little here from Josh Allen's legs that Cam Newton probably had over him, but I think Josh Allen's a little bit more effective of a passer, a little bit better in rhythm passer. So I think 2015. I'm
But
so
yeah,
with you.
just the dominance, like the dominance from the quarterback position because he's running over linebackers. Like he's no
It's
joke.
that LeBron James thing where it just
Yeah.
looks like an eighth grader playing with fifth graders, where it's just
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
Yeah,
we're
it's
in a different
literally
league.
it's like, all right. That's why I was like, I could go on a big rant about this, but I think everyone else agrees with. I think it's unanimous. It's unanimous. But obviously, that is what it is. Another big NFL plot line that I want to talk about: Michael Penix getting the start over $180 million contract Kirk Cousins. Jack, thoughts? Just tell me, because you're a former football coach. Tell me these guys are still competing for a playoff spot. Like they're right there. They own the tiebreaker over Tampa Bay. Why? Tell me that change at this point in the season in quarterback. What does that tell you? What does that tell someone like you?
Well, it's fascinating, but it's not shocking because this has gone back to when they signed Kirk Cousins in the first place. From that signing where they went 180 million contract, 50 million signing bonus, 100 million guaranteed for a guy coming off the Achilles, who already was immobile and already was on that line where that there are 8 quarterbacks, give or take, any given season, Lance, that can go win the Super Bowl. We can all agree and go circle them at the beginning of the season and decide those 8, and then we could bet them versus the field and be right 99% of the time. There are very few outliers.
True.
Nick Foles would be one. Joe Flacco would be one. There's a few outliers, but generally speaking, it comes from that pool of the 8 best quarterbacks in the league every year. Kirk Cousins was right on that line. And a guy coming off the Achilles injury, I don't think that would have been my direction. Now, Atlanta with the great offensive pieces, you got a couple first-round draft picks like Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson that you want to see actually come to fruition because you've had Desmond Ridder and fucking whoever else.
Yeah, Heineke and
yeah. So I get that they were just like, we just need an adult in the room, and then this offense will go. Okay, fine with that. Then why Michael Penix with the 8th overall pick? If you're doing that, you knew you gave him a player-friendly contract with 4 years. You knew Kirk Cousins didn't have 4 years left, or at least you should have. So you were saying we're going all in on this year or the following year to go win a Super Bowl. We have the adults in the room, and we're going to go basically run the Broncos playbook when they won with Von Miller, beating that Cam Newton team, by the way. And it just hasn't played out. Kirk Cousins hasn't been the Kirk Cousins of old. They can't protect him, seemingly. They don't have guys they don't have, be it offensive scheme or outside weapons that can just go win easily outside one-on-one. Offensively, they haven't gotten it going. Outside of their 2 wins over the Bucs, there's not been anything that made you think playoff team at all this year. Even their early wins, they beat the Eagles early. That was the Eagles' win. They just choked that game away. So from the start, this thing has sucked. And now you find yourself here. They're coming off a 5-game losing streak. They just beat the Raiders, but they only scored 15 on offense. I think everyone in the building is just saying it can't get any worse. Clearly, we fucked this thing up. What's the best thing to do going forward? And that's let's get a 3-game run with Michael Penix here to begin basically his offseason, and he's going to be the guy going into next year. Now, the problem is in the midst of that, what they've done is absolutely trashed Kirk Cousins' stock. And whoever picks up Kirk Cousins is still going to have to pay him like roughly $30 million, maybe a hair less than $30 million a year. I just don't know. First of all, am I going to be, say I'm the Raiders, right? And I'm going to go draft a Shador. You want to pay Kirk Cousins $27 million for the next 3 years, a year, to be the backup to your guy incoming? You want to begin the camp with a quarterback? I mean, I just don't see any team taking him on to be the backup quarterback. So where does this end?
I guess it's just a cut, right?
Cousins' retirement, yeah.
Is it just kind of like how Russell Wilson went out in Broncos? Like they're just going to pay him the money, take the punch on the chin, and move on?
That's where it goes. They're just going to have to cut him, and they're going to have to swallow all this money, which is now something you thought you were going all in to get it out of these first 2 guys, and now Michael Penix's career. I get the jump start. But now he's dealing they're one of the great paths to a Super Bowl right now, Patrick, as proven possible by Patrick Mahomes, is winning on a rookie quarterback deal. If you can go win a Super Bowl on a rookie quarterback deal, if you can have a top 10 quarterback on a rookie contract, it gives you so many more options to go pay everybody else you want to pay. You end up with some kind of super team. So this is something that people have been chasing. I get them trying to jumpstart now with Michael Penix, but if you have to eat all that dead money and it's counting against your cap, what flexibility do they have going into the next seasons? And now Michael Penix's career is already a little bit fucked up because he's going to be carrying this fucking, I mean, bad personnel probably in the coming years. Underpaid team. It's this thing got fucked so long ago, and this is just another obvious marker of where it's headed, which is unfortunately a lot of people getting fired in a completely new direction for the Atlanta Falcons, probably in some time between 5 to 10 years from now.
Yeah, Jack, you made a great point talking about the rookie quarterback contracts and building the teams around those. I mean, if it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes, remember Jalen Hurts, like recently was in that Super Bowl, rookie contract, super team around him. Another one, Brock Purdy, rookie contract, God squad around him. So, and those guys would have been NFL champions if it wasn't for Mahomes. So,
Eagles did it with Nick Foles or with
Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Wentz.
He just ends up getting hurt, and Nick Foles takes the run. But that was the team assembled around a rookie quarterback contract.
Yeah, the original Jared Goff Rams. His roster was beast mode. That was a rookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so my question is, so in the locker room, Penix, like they give him the nod. They're going into the playoffs. You were talking kind of give him a jump start for next season. And I was just, I'm curious. I'm like, so if you were worried about Penix in next season, wouldn't that you just keep Cousins in, ride out the last year and give him a fresh start? My question's more based on like, do you like these guys actually are trying to win and think Penix is the guy?
That's what's so troubling, and that's why it torches the Kirk Cousins stock, is because they're still playoff viable.
Yeah.
So what they're saying with the move here is Michael Penix gives us the best chance to win. So you've just devalued Kirk Cousins below Michael Penix, but you got to still pay that guy big time money. How are you going to get him off the books? You're not.
You can't.
You're not.
Damn, tough spot for Atlanta. And I've been rooting for him. Even when they signed Kirk Cousins, I wanted him to do well. I'm like, these guys have just had a lot of players and just no quarterback.
I'm a big fan of the headman. He seems to be like the most popular guy in the league. They had some hard knocksy stuff. It was fun to see him bring Matt Ryan back in and talk to those guys. And there's a lot to like about the Atlanta Falcons. And seemingly like they fuck up everything. They have one of the great color schemes in sports, just red and black classics. Yeah. And I put them in the bottom 5 of jerseys in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think they're trash.
Yeah, no, that's just tough. That's hilarious.
I can't understand.
They got the great
bottom. They're fucking up everything.
All right. Well, that's enough about Penix and Kirk. Hey, I wish Penix the best. I mean, he was a baller at Washington that last year, so I wish him the best.
Baller.
Yeah.
Hey, interesting plot line, Lance. Going from a righty to a lefty quarterback midseason.
I was thinking that too. That was another question I had lingering. That's different. It's a lot different. The spin of the ball, catching it, it's different. So do you think that affects a lot, or are they professionals?
So the spinning of the ball and catching it is one thing. Also, flipping the entire offense the other way is the other thing. Everything you've been doing,
you're right.
Now going left.
You're right. Yeah, because a boot. Yeah, that's actually interesting. Mm-hmm. Wow. And I'm just thinking like they must have been thinking about this for 3 weeks now. Like 3 or 4 weeks.
It was the 5-game losing streak again. Hell of a spot. And I guess now you get the win, so you're feeling like you're doing yourself a service by keeping Kirk's hot stock up. But you could have sold this so much better. Where it would have honestly, I think they would have loved to lose that Raiders game and be out of playoff contention and make this same move and then be able to go to the press conference and say, hey, this isn't on Kirk. We didn't do enough to support him. This isn't the roster constructed to best support Kirk Cousins. Our offensive line wasn't good enough and this and that. And Kirk Cousins is a great player, but we're just not there yet as a franchise. And we're going to get behind Michael Penix. And within 3 years, we expect to be competing for Super Bowls. Say something like that. Then all of a sudden, I think you protect Kirk's stock and we can go back and say like, okay, big swing and they miss, but now this is the best direction forward. This whole thing is like, just one bad decision after another. And the timing of it is always so funny because they signed Kirk late in the process. By that point, they knew they were drafting 8th overall. They knew they had a shot. And like draft capital, like you could go up too. Like even Michael Penix, whoever your guy was, you could have gone up to anybody not named Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels. Those were available. The Patriots were shopping the number 3 overall pick going
Yeah.
up to the draft. So none of it, like, it feels like we've got two factions within the Falcons organization, and both get a chance to make decisions, and it like spins a wheel to decide which team gets to pick this week, because none of the two decisions ever agree with each other. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's just tough for Atlanta fans. Tough. I don't know what else to tell you. All right, moving on. Jets owner Woody Johnson used Madden ratings when discussing Jerry Jeudy trade details.
I think non-story.
I was gonna say, how serious do you take this? Do you think that's like, right? Yeah. People are like quick to, I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone, it's easy to trash the Jets and get on. I'm like, I don't think that was the entire story. Maybe that's popped up.
And I think owners are very involved at times in decision-making processes. I think the draft is a big time, especially first round, where they want to put their thumbs on the scales and go get a guy that they've been talked into. Quarterback, probably. They get a lot of say from time to time. Perennial guys who are second contract guys for their team, who are potential Ring of Honor guys for their team. I think they get a say in those guys. The Jerry Jeudy trade, who is signed to the Browns to be the third receiver this year, and it would have been the Jets' third or fourth receiver. And I like Jerry Jeudy too. I think he's going to overachieve past that. The idea that he's in the waiting and that like this is a serious conversation and it ultimately died. Like this is the Moneyball scene where they're talking about guys having ugly girlfriends and stuff like that. Like, you like to think more of that stuff happens, and a lot of it actually does, but I don't think it swings decisions. And I guarantee he made this comment. I guarantee it was not a factor in the decision.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm like, I feel like NFL owners, and it can be different, obviously, because there's an owner like Jerry Jones and, you know, those guys. David Smerling, legend, but like,
I love Smerling.
Yeah, absolute go. But like, I feel like people come to the owner like, all right, here's what I got. Here's what I can show you. Blah, blah, blah. What's your opinion? Kind of. And I don't think someone came up to him. Here's his Madden rating. It's not that high. I don't think we should trade for him or something. Like, because they make it sound so much stupider than the process probably was. So I don't know. Maybe it's not worth talking about because it just does sound a little dumb.
It makes everybody sound dumb. It's such a Jets story of this year, though.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. Aaron Rodgers is in Egypt. Fucking Woody Johnson is using Madden ratings. We're shoving the head coach, but that's cool. We're just boys in the locker room. But then the coach is fired a week later. Like the whole Mike Williams is the problem. Mike Williams gets traded to the Steelers and catches the winning touchdown a week later. Like the Jets are jetsing hard this year. And it's been a tough watch. Honestly, the NFL did not need it. Last year, that opening scene of Aaron Rodgers running out on 9/11 with an American flag and then blowing up his Achilles 2 plays later was costly to the NFL. That was a big plot line.
That was enough. We
built the return season this year, and it sucks.
Yeah. Unfortunate. I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers guy. I actually love Aaron Rodgers. He's my hero. But yeah, I will say, as probably the closing note on this one, I have thought about it. I was like, I wonder if, you know, because I play video games. I play the sport video games. I love them. But I was like, I wonder if they've ever looked at these ratings and have ever made a decision. You know, dumb thought of what it, so this to actually come out and how much backlash. When I own a team, Jack, I will not be using the ratings. I promise you. I learned my lesson early.
I still believe in that. What a blast that would be. Dream job, obviously. That's number one.
Yep.
NFL team.
Owning any professional sports. We'll get there. Yeah, it's a matter of when. It's a matter of when.
People like Schmerling.
So we haven't talked the game tonight, no?
No, we need to, because it's kind of a very fun plot line, actually.
Yep.
Chargers -2.5 versus the Broncos. Game is being played in LA, Lance. We got 8-6 Chargers versus 9-5 Broncos. Both very much seem like they're going to the playoffs, but it is not a done deal yet. Massive win. Broncos get a chance to clinch tonight with a win. Chargers all but clinch with a win tonight. I went and did the little diving on this. 10 wins is the magic number to clinch the playoffs. 9 wins is likely going to get somebody in, but it'll go to some tiebreakers. So the Broncos should be sitting here chilling, feeling good, but listen to the circumstances that could happen with a loss tonight. Should the Broncos get beat tonight, and Vegas has them getting beat tonight, things will get very interesting. They play the Bengals next week, who are still technically alive to play it. If the Bengals were to beat them, they would own the tiebreaker. So if the Bengals got to 9 wins, which is them winning out, they would go by the Broncos with a win next week, assuming all else being equal. And then the last week, they'd have to play the Chiefs. The Chiefs need to win 2 more games to get to the playoffs, or to get to own the 1 seed in the playoffs, because the Bills own the tiebreaker. The Bills are going to win out. They play the Patriots and I think the Jets twice or something like that. Maybe I have that reversed. Patriots twice and the Jets.
Yeah, I know they play the Patriots, but
it's they're winning out. So the Chiefs have to win 2. They've got the Texans. I forget who they play next week, but it's another tough game. They could very much be playing that game to win it. So you're going to get Bengals trying to win it to stay alive in the playoffs. Chiefs in a must-win, so they don't have to go through Buffalo in the playoffs. Broncos have to win tonight. This is going to get very hairy very quickly in the AFC.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that much at stake for the Broncos. I knew for the Chargers, because you lose, you go to 8-7.
Yep.
8-7 is a tough.
In a weird way, the Chargers play schedule to finish out is not difficult. Gosh dang it. I looked all this up. I'm trying to remember who the Chargers have, but the Chargers look like they're going to go 2-0 in their final 2 games.
Okay.
So in a weird way, the higher leverage spot tonight is the Broncos.
Interesting. So the Broncos technically have more at stake, you would say.
Broncos are 1 win away from going to the playoffs, but they have to beat either the Chargers tonight, who also need to win to stay up, and then they need to go beat the Bengals, who need to win out to go to the playoffs, and some shit to happen, one of those being Broncos losing. And then lastly, they get the Chiefs or at home, but it's a Chiefs team that might have to win that game to get the 1 seed. And frankly, if you go comb the Broncos season back, they've been really good against the dog shit teams. They've been really solid against the mid-level teams. They have not gone and beaten a big-time boy this year. Ravens beat the shit out of them. Bucks came in last week, beat the shit out of them. Like, they've got injury issues. Dobbins is still out. Like, it's a big game. It's very interesting. I'm excited to watch that one tonight. And I think if I had to put money on it, I'd go the Chargers minus the 2.5 and expect to win a sweaty one.
Yep, I agree with you. I'm on Chargers. I thought Chargers when I saw this open up, especially with the results of last week. The Chargers getting shit on last week makes me think this week they're gonna, kind of ramp it up. I don't think Harbaugh wants to lose 2 in a row.
Herbert versus Knicks, must-win game for both of them. I'm going with Herbert.
Yeah. I mean, and Knicks is a rookie. It's no shade to him. It's
a little shade to him.
0-2
against Washington last year.
Oh, that is true. That's something I got the Oregon Duck hat on, but when I tell the Ducks that, they don't like listening to any part of that. David Smerling, he said, hell yeah, I love A-Rod as well. So many people hate him because he didn't want to get the jab, and he does what the fuck he wants. David Smerling, you're awesome because fuck the jab. And yeah, A-Rod's just the man. He also says, what do you guys think of Knicks over 219.5 passing yards and Cortland Sutton over 5.5 receptions?
I like receptions. I hate yards. I think it's an under night for a lot of guys tonight. I think both defenses they're both defensive led. They're both teams that want to run the football, and they're both head coaches that are conservative. They both want to. They don't. But the old school philosophy of coaching is before you can win a game, we can't lose it. This is why you punt on 4th and 1 from the 50-yard line. You don't go for it. We're not going to be the ones to fuck this thing up. There'll be opportunities to be aggressive. When we don't have to be, we're not going to be. And both these coaches kind of embrace that. Now, they're both guys that'll fucking fuck around. Sean Payton kicked an onside kick in the Super Bowl. So there's some of that stuff going on. Not to say there won't be trick plays and wrinkles, but on a general game plan basis, they're conservative. I think it's a lot of under shit tonight.
Yeah, I agree with Jack as well. And also with the 5.5 receptions, I just feel like the Chargers are going to do a lot to try to take away Sutton and make him, spread the ball out to a bunch of different receivers. Could be completely wrong, but I don't know. And Knicks just hasn't. Last week he wasn't that good.
His team. Go ahead.
His team and defense have carried him in some of these games. And, some of them Knicks has played great. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to take credit away to where it's due. There's been a couple games that he does. It's, he's playing trying not to make a mistake, let his defense win the game, those type of scenarios. And I feel like that's what we could see tonight, a lot of, kind of from both sides. Yeah, because both of them have good defenses.
Yeah. As far as the completions go for Cortland Sutton, it's weird when it happens, but I think it's the case for Denver. I think Cortland Sutton's kind of a security blanket. It's weird that an outside receiver would be your security blanket, but it feels like Cortland Sutton gets the ball a lot, or at least the first read a lot.
You're right.
When the deal gets it.
You're right.
So that's my argument for completions. I don't want to bash Smerling all over the place. But
yeah. Sorry, Smerling. I'm not trying to. It's not even his picks. He was just asking an opinion. But yeah, Sutton's a big dude, isn't he? Like 6'4"?
I'm not trying to bash you either, by the way.
No, there's no bashing. All right, we're all friends here. There's Alex Stoles out of nowhere. We've missed our hockey guy. Guy just decided to vanish out of nowhere, but he says Vols by a million. We'll be covering college football again a little later in the show, my friend. But yeah.
Go there now.
You want to go there now? I saw that comp you had in there though of NFL quarterbacks. Do you want to rant about it, or do you want to?
Okay. It's 3:36 right now. We'll not go past 3:38. All right. I just want to just clarify some stuff. I made a sweeping accusation on the Tuesday show that I don't see a difference between Caleb Williams and Zach Wilson at this point. And I'm selling my Caleb Williams stock. Went and looked this up. Zach Williams' rookie year, he only played 13 games. Caleb is now 14 games into a season. So I'm comparing the resumes. 55.6% completion percentage for Zach, 61.9 for Caleb. That is a actually massive difference. It only sounds like 6 or 7 or 6 points, but that 60% is like the Mendoza line for quarterbacks. When you dip below that, you're officially a shitty quarterback. You're above that. I'd really like to see above 65, but above 60 I can live with. So very much advantage Caleb there. Yards are a little tough to compare because of the extra game, but overall pretty similar. 2,334 for Zach, 2,937 for Caleb with the extra game. TDs, this is interesting. Only 9 touchdowns versus 11 picks for Zach. For Caleb this year, it's 17 picks versus just 5 picks. There's 17 touchdowns versus just 5 picks. So that's where you see the huge difference. Zach Wilson was turning the fuck out over the ball. Caleb's actually been a little bit productive, particularly in the back half of the season. I will say when you go to records, though, Lance, Zach Wilson was 3-10 in his 13 starts. Caleb 4-10. And if you want to add one little bonus for Zach, he had 4 rushing touchdowns to Caleb's 0. So here's the deal. Caleb's not Zach Wilson, but it's shocking how close it is. It's shocking because I really thought Caleb Williams was the next coming of Patrick Mahomes. And actually not so different from Zach Wilson. I got fooled a little bit on the tape and the arm talent. Caleb Williams or Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen's freaky arms and their ability just to create the extra plays. You have it perfect. You have him schemed up. He slips out of a tackle in the backfield and all of a sudden it's 40 yards the other way. That's the shit that keeps getting people beat in the playoffs. And so everyone's trying to recreate it in the aggregate. And Zach Wilson wasn't it. Caleb Williams, I need to see more. My stock has been sold. I'm going to be a quick buyback guy. I'm not going to be the guy waiting for him to win a Super Bowl to buy back in. But I'm sold for right now.
No, and you made great points. And one thing I want to say that it's a more comparable than it looks in the touchdown to interception ratio. Because if you look at Caleb's stats on getting sacked this year, it's like a record high. He just has been sitting on the ball. So I know he's not turning it over. But trust me, it's not production coming out of the other side. Like it's just he's hiding. He's scared to make a mistake football.
Yeah, and it shows up in the overall offense and obviously those record stats. Now, we've done it the whole year, Lance, play a little defense for Caleb, and I'll do it again right now. The offensive scheme hasn't supported him at all. We're not playing an offense that plays into his hands even a little bit. The O-line didn't allow for him to develop. The learning curve always for rookie quarterbacks is just how much quicker the decision-making process has to go. How much more complicated the defenses are and how much quicker the pass rush is getting home. You got to sort through some shit really quickly. O-line didn't give him a chance to develop in that at all. He was thrust into the fire pretty quickly, and clearly there's a lot to learn and get better at in that metric of the game. And then last but not least, he's in a 4-team division. The other 3 are vying for playoff spots. 2 of them are vying for the 1 seed. So he's going to have 6 games against the top of his conference. It's a tough slate. So it's not as bad as I thought. It's not good. I need to see something in the final 3 games here. Otherwise, I'm going into this offseason going, fuck, Bears are not close. They're far, far away.
No, hey, all great points, and you only went 2 minutes over, so that's actually good for us. That's good for us. That's good for us. All right.
Well, I like to keep an hour show here, and I want to talk college ball, so let's motor through the shit ball games here.
Let's go. Lead us off, Jack.
Okay, we got one game going tonight. We are in the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. That's the one we've been waiting on all year, people. Get excited. Georgia Southern. It was -6 when we did the show on Tuesday. It has moved to 3.5. I was the guy who believed in the -6. I'm not going to get fucking fooled by this late line movement. I'm staying on Georgia Southern for all the same reasons I was on Tuesday. They got a starting running back, 2 corners, and a D lineman opting out of this game. You got issues. Headman obviously has left the program, so they're dealing with an interim coach. Clay Elton is 0-2 in bowl games. We said it on Tuesday. I say it now. He's going to get an early Gatorade bath in the 4th quarter, and we're going to recover this number easily.
Yeah. And I'm on the same side, folks. I don't know shit about Georgia Southern or Sam Houston, so I'm just riding with the smart guy. I'm going with Jack.
I love that. I love not even trying to pretend, because I am pretending a little. I know a little, not a lot.
I know, yeah, see, I'm like, guys, I'm going to be honest. Crucify me if you want, but I just don't know that much about Georgia Southern and Sam Houston. I do know the name Clay Helton. He was a Trojan, right? Wasn't he? He was one of those.
Trojan.
Yeah.
His, I don't know if it's his son or brother, Tyson Helton's the head man at Western Kentucky. I think it's his brother. But yeah, there you go. Tomorrow, so, obviously we're 1-2. If you need to see some proof, watch that game happen tonight. Watch us be right. And then tomorrow, come on with us, because we got easy money tomorrow. Ohio was -3 when we did the show on Tuesday. It's moved to -5. It's Ohio all day. Trust it. I also like the over of that game quite a bit. If you can find that over, get nuts. Florida -12.5 versus Tulane. That number's moved to 10, Lance. So here's what's happened. Let's keep letting that line wander down and let's jump on this thing. I'm going to jump on it today, and if it moves even more, I'm going to jump on it again. Florida, because they're in the competitive cycle of the SEC, this happens every year with bowl games. That's the Union Home Gasparilla Bowl. Is you get some opt-outs. We've got some guys who are leveraging NIL deals who wanted guarantees. They didn't get them. We got some starting linebackers in the portal. We've got some opt-outs of this game. I do not care. Culturally, what this game means for Florida and where Tulane is at culturally, this is going to be an ass kicking. This is Florida by 1,000. I guarantee it. I'm betting everything. I can't say it enough. Florida by 1,000.
I love it. I agree with you, especially because of the season that Florida had this year. And like you talked about the blow up with Tulane. I mean, Florida has been getting that next year there'll be someone like you don't want to have to go to the swamp and go play.
Florida had pieced together some big-time wins to close out the season, including knocking the Ole Miss out of the playoff. And Florida was left for dead. They got beat by Texas, and the athletic director had to go in front of the media and say, we're not firing Billy Napier. We believe in him. We're coming back. And since then, they haven't lost a game. And it feels like Florida is going to be rolling a little bit next year. And this is a major moment. Florida doesn't go into this game and win or lose or win a close one, because it cast the exact same shadow of doubt they've been dealing with this whole season. We finally have a ray of momentum and a little positivity and a little optimism going into next season. You capitalize on it, you win this game by 20 plus.
Boom. All right, we have Joe Baggy in the waiting room. Should we bring him in to talk a little college football playoff?
I would love that. Bring him in here.
Get him in here.
Shit.
Where is he? Where's the one they call back? Well, he's loaded. But yeah, hey, you forgot to include that third game tomorrow. Tomorrow night?
Playoff game?
Yeah.
No, that's right.
I know.
You want me to start talking? We'll let Joe come on and fuck around when he makes it.
Background, are you still tell me where you are.
Yeah, well, you're right to ask and be skeptical, because I have flip-flopped on this game all week. Because, again, the lines are gigantic for the playoffs. I don't know if we ever mentioned it on air yesterday, but all of the games for the conference championships were one-score lines. The biggest one, I think, was 5.5. Then you turn to this. We don't have a game inside of a touchdown. Everything's 7 or bigger. Got 7, 7.5, 8.5, and 12.5. So I just don't see 4 games of chalk coming here. And so it feels like this is the one that people want to get excited about, because Notre Dame hasn't played anybody all that special. Indiana and Kurt Signetti are coming in, not playing with stress. it's all very interesting. I've been a flip-floppy little son of a gun this whole week. But let me just think out loud for a second, Lance. Let me just walk you through it and tell you why I'm staying with the Irish. Notre Dame is better than Ohio State. And this is the Ohio State team that just throttled Indiana. But in fairness to Indiana, they clearly played tight in that game and made some uncharacteristic errors early. They dropped the punt at the end of the second half. They were going to go into that half at 7-7. Now it's 14-7. Blink your eyes, it's 21-7 after the first possession of the second half. So all that, you remove that tightness, and they're able to play loose because they're coming into this game with no pressure on them. It's interesting. It makes you think twice. And I'll say this, if they can just find a way to turn a trick or two and get up early, Notre Dame is not exactly built to play from behind, especially against an Indiana team that ranks 6th nationally on team defense. So if you're an Indiana believer, I get it. But as I say that that Indiana is ranked 6th nationally on defense, it's worth noting that Notre Dame's ranked 4th. Okay, this is a better Notre Dame team. Curt Cignetti may be better early in this game than Marcus Freeman. So you can talk yourself into a path for Indiana, but you're really working hard and doing some mental gymnastics. Curtis Rourke, quarterback for Indiana, Lance, has been a different player in the games that they've actually played real competition. Versus Ohio State and versus Michigan, no points. I think they scored 20 and 16 respectively in those two games. Consider the under of this game, by the way, if you're thinking about bets. The number is 52.5. That was the same number it was versus Ohio State. And it was the one I guaranteed it to everybody. And it absolutely collapsed in the last 3 minutes of the game because Indiana was playing for nothing. They let them go down and score because what the hell. Then Indiana did a bullshit onside kick. Notre Dame returned that to like the 2. Or Ohio State returned it to like the 2. And all of a sudden my line went up in flames. Under should be pretty comfy in this thing. I love the under. But I think it's Notre Dame all day. I think it's Notre Dame to cover the number. I think Notre Dame wins by 10 plus.
Hey, KG Little Joe's agrees with you in the chat. He says Irish 35, Indiana 21. Irish D is sick. I mean,
I'd take all that. I like the margin. I just walk it all back. I'd take it like 28 to like 13, something like that.
Yeah. So let me. You made a great point where the difference in the game. Because when Indiana played Ohio State, both undefeated, this is playoff, lot at stake, pressure, things like that, both sides. Now going into the playoff, more pressure you would think is on Notre Dame this game than Indiana.
Now, they just extended Marcus Freeman, so it's not like things are going to go south, but 100%. This is Notre Dame hosting a playoff game. They haven't been in the playoffs since Brian Kelly. This is an interesting spot. I thought perhaps Marcus Freeman with a loss here, we'd start asking questions of when does he win the big game. But they've extended him because there was rumored he was going to get the Bears job. So a little less pressure than I thought, but certainly the looser team coming into this game ought to be Indiana.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, and it's tough. It's tough because Indiana's run defense is ranked so high, but they just don't have the competition that they've played that really scales to a team like Notre Dame, other than, Ohio State. So, those numbers, it's hard to believe and just be like, oh, they are one of the top run defenses in college football, when it's like, I don't know. We're going to find out. And when you're in these situations where there's just a lot that you don't know, I feel like the right answer is going with the favorite. Just take the points, -7, lay the points, go with Notre Dame.
None of these guys have played anybody. It's so hard.
It's tough. It's
so
tough.
hard sorting out who is all who here. Like, there might be some shitty teams in this playoff.
Yeah.
I might be a fan of one of them. Fuck. It's tough to set. Like, I'm going to make this case in the next game, Lance. But okay, everyone's been jamming up SMU for not having big time wins.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Notre Dame's big win? Texas A&M early in the season?
No.
Who's Penn State's big win? Minnesota? USC on the road? You can go down the list. Who's Clemson? Clemson's got a big win over SMU. Okay, put them on the list. Who did ASU beat that I'm supposed to be impressed by? Who did Boise State beat that I'm supposed to be impressed by?
The only one that Boise State, we're just proud of them for losing, not too much to Oregon.
Yeah, Texas, not a win I'm impressed by. So you start getting down this list. Oregon has, Georgia has, Ohio State maybe has, because they beat Indiana
and Penn State.
And Penn State.
The why I give Ohio State a little more credit is because they did go through a little. I mean, and even though we don't know what to call in Indiana, we don't know what to call. I guess Penn State is really we don't know what to call Penn State. We know what to call Oregon. We know what to call Ohio State. Those are really good rosters. I don't know. It's tough, Jack. It's tough.
But I do think
it's
Notre Dame, if they played a Big Ten schedule, would be right there with Ohio State and Penn State. And I think it's a class above where Indiana's at. All credit to Indiana. There's just that tricky motherfucker of if Indiana's up 10-0 early.
I know.
If they go down and hit a field goal with the opening drive and Riley Leonard cocks something up and they get the ball.
If he just does something stupid.
Then we're in real fucking trouble because this is not a Notre Dame team where it's like if you go 10-0 on Oregon, it's going to be 14-10 in the next 5 minutes against Oregon, right? They're built to go fast.
Yeah.
This is a situation where I worry about Notre Dame getting down early, but that's the freak show contingency. That's the bad idea whispering in my head. This is Notre Dame -7. They're going to cover it.
Yeah, dude, but you're so right. Like if opening drive, it's 3-0 and Leonard comes in. I mean, even if, say the Indiana run defense is legit, I might have to go in and live bet and just abort mission instantly because if there's no run game for Notre Dame, they're fucked. They will lose to Indiana.
Let's agree. We're picking matchups here because we're trying to project the playoff, but let's agree the best bet on the board then is the under, the 52.5. We're talking these run defenses. Yeah. We got quarterbacks. I mean, the Riley Leonard's not great. The other kids got way better numbers. I'd love to forget his name. Curtis Rourke. Curtis Rourke's got better numbers. But this is all. I know USC just kind of clowned on this defense. This defense is legit.
Yeah,
they're great up front and they're great in the back end. I just don't see it happening. I mean, Indiana had 7 points really all day against Ohio State.
Yeah,
it wasn't until late they started fucking around that you had the extra things. Is Notre Dame really not going to score 21 plus in this game? Because I think they hold them under 21. I really do.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, so I like we've said, I mean, I keep trying to almost like talk myself out of it. Like we've said, Notre Dame, lay the points, take the better team.
Lay them and go ahead and peek that under as well because that's a damn good bet on the board. Okay, let's go to Saturday morning now. The game that's going to get the highest ratings, of course, SMU plus 8.5 at Penn State.
I mean, hey, you're the pony. You take us.
It's still the ponies, everybody. And I've not flip-flopped on this. I've gotten insecure and I've gotten embarrassed, but I've not flip-flopped. I believe this wholeheartedly, and I'm more confident now today than I was when we talked on Tuesday. Let's go back through it.
Yep.
They've already had this experience run in the ACC championship. They played in the cold. They played the big brand in Clemson, who's been one of the perennials since this playoff started. And they played in the big stage. I made it quite clear on the show how much of a home game that was for Clemson. If they shit their pants early in that game, they got organized, and then they looked like the SMU team we've seen this entire year. If they're that team, if they're the second half team against Clemson, the team we've seen all year and not the team that gets a little gun shy on the big moment, this is a hell of a game. And if they get off to a hot start, look out, Penn State. You've got issues.
Ooh.
What do you think about that?
I love it. My big thing, I've seen these rankings. I actually saw it on Barstool recently. I mean, geez. They had Drew Aller as the second-ranked quarterback in these playoffs, Jack.
Drew Aller's the second-ranked quarterback in this game, Lance.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's how I feel about
no, 100%. You're 100% right. I don't know where this Drew Aller. Don't get me wrong. 3rd and 4th down has been a hero in some big games, I will say. Other than that, I don't know why he's getting this much respect.
Let me say this, too. I'm not intimidated by this Penn State team even a little bit after doing some research and some deep diving and some watching of them this week.
Yeah.
Who are their best wins? I know we just kind of did this, but who are their best wins? I would tell you the easy answer is a 21-7 win at home versus Illinois. Fucking okay.
Okay.
It's a win. It's a win.
No, I mean, good win, but not that impressive to where I'm going to scale you as one of the best teams in the playoff.
They're not better than Louisville either, who SMU went and beat on the road. So,
yeah.
I don't know that they beat Pitt, to be honest with you. I don't know that they beat Duke. I maybe. We'll see on all that. To be decided. 7-5 Minnesota. They had to beat 26-25. They faked a punt on the final series to
Yeah.
ice it. But Minnesota was about ready to get that ball back to come down and beat them. Now, that was kind of their shit game.
Yeah.
In fairness, everyone has a shit game. They survive it. That was kind of their shit game. But Minnesota 7-5, you beat them 26-25. And then there's 6-6 USC that was up 17-3 in the first half and took them to overtime. Now, Aller played his fucking ass off in the last drive of that game and in overtime. But those are the wins. That's like, once you go by that, you get 7 wins. And who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like it's Maryland
and
it's
a lot
Wisconsin,
and losses.
It's Purdue. It's West Virginia. It's Kent State, the worst team in football this year. 0-12 Kent State. Bowling Green hung around with these guys till the fourth quarter. Bowling Green finished middle of the action.
Yeah, it's I don't know, Jack. It's because
now you can make the same argument, Lance, against SMU,
Mhm.
but people have been doing that all week, and I'm just holding up the mirror back at Penn State going, well, who the fuck have you beat?
No, exactly, and that's 100% fair. Yeah, this game, KG Little Joe's in the chat real quick. Hold on. Best thing to happen to Notre Dame was losing to NIU. That's hilarious. And then
He's just such an Illinois man.
I know.
He's talking Notre Dame. He's talking NIU. He's fucking got Illinois dialed.
Oh my god! And then Penn State game is going to be in the 20s. Cold. SMU might not be used to the cold, so this under might be the pick. 53.5 under. What are your thoughts on the under in that game, Jack?
I thought it was just about this temperature in Charlotte the night we were there.
Okay.
It was 29, a little humid, and just fucking freezing. So now you're getting a daytime game where you're getting the sun out on you and all that. It'll be cold. I don't think it's that level of cold where you freak out. And I love that we got the game rep on it already, where I think guys are going to walk out, they're going to feel the sun, and it's going to feel pretty good. Now, there's some talks of wind gusts. Keep eyes on that. If early in the game you're seeing the fucking flags on the goalpost going nuts, it's underball all day. Get in on it live early. But as it stands now, if we get kind of just a mild cold day, which I think is what it's going to be, I think it's the first team to 30 wins, and I think that team's SMU. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, if I were to think of it, like SMU offensively is I think more dynamic than Penn State because of the quarterback play.
Well, and then you go through, okay, which teams have given them issues? Obviously, they get clapped by Oregon. They got beat by Ohio State. Ohio State played them their way, though. They leaned on them. UCLA took these guys almost tied into the first half, and that was with Justin Martin, their backup quarterback, playing that day. And with great respect to Justin Martin, my brother loves him. I'm a big fan of his. He ain't it. He's a bad player. He's a real bad player. But all he did was make a couple extra plays. Now, I've got the extra play fucking magician and Kevin Jennings. The guys, if there's one argument to have against Kevin Jennings, he's just a little raw. He's still playing a little recess back there, but fuck, he settled down a little bit in that second half against Clemson. If we don't shit our pants in the first quarter, if we get off and we're comfy, I'm telling you, this is not JV varsity. This is an 8.5 spread. I think SMU was going to win outright. So you're damn certain I'm taking the 8.5.
Dude, I'll be rooting for the ponies because I'm still rooting. The brother versus brother Fiesta Bowl. SMU Jack, Boise State Joe Bags. There's just so much to look forward to. We just need the ponies to get a big win in Happy Valley. But like anyone knows, Happy Valley, that's a brutal environment.
It's easier said than done. Yeah. I'm just like, somehow this game has become the blowout game for everybody.
Yeah.
This is the Penn State's going to blow them out, and Notre Dame and Ohio State are on upset watch. And I just don't see that.
Yeah, that's actually a trend I've been noticing in conversations that I've had. The games that people have been on the opposite of what we've had, Jack. When we talk about the Indiana Notre Dame game, everyone's like, "Oh, Notre Dame's not blah blah blah." Like Indiana take the points instantly, right off the top of their head. That's their thought. The other one, Tennessee +7, like that's right off the top of their head. They call Ohio State fraudulent and all those words. And then they're like Texas. They want Texas and Penn State. They think those clear easy. They think Clemson shouldn't be there, and they think SMU shouldn't be there. And I'm a little confused because I'm on the complete other sides of them, and I'm fairly confident in the other sides.
I am as well. And I think what you're seeing in the games here, the SMU Penn State, and the Clemson Texas game, you're getting ACC teams versus the big bad SEC and Big Ten. And so you're getting that bias reflected across the board that these teams are going to go beat the fuck out of these teams. And I just don't see it, folks. I just don't see it.
And I want to say something else. And I got to ask you a question. And I'm going out on a limb here. I might look like an idiot. But, I mean, the Michigan-Ohio State game, I feel like, is a lot tougher of a game than people are giving it credit for. I get it. Michigan 6-6. But those rivalry games, and they had real NFL talent on the defensive side of the ball. And that they miss games throughout the season because it's a meaningless season. Everyone showed up for Ohio State. No, they didn't want to let them win one game. Like, that game meant a lot more and was a lot tougher than people actually give Ohio State or Michigan credit for. So, like, because everyone, I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you like?
I think Ohio State's offense has real problems.
That's true.
I think Ohio State's got a real slim way to win games, and when they start playing these really good teams, like when they played Penn State, they had to play damn near perfect on defense all game. Took advantage of 2 consecutive scoring drives, but outside of that, weren't even moving the ball.
I guess their big thing is offense.
And that was in a world, Lance, where they still had their best offensive lineman, their starting center. Forgetting the kid's name, but he's been out, and it's been different. Like, they were gonna hold Michigan all day, every day, and yet their offense couldn't bail them out and go get it. Now Michigan's got 2 first-round draft picks on their defense, possibly 3, so it's not a bad fucking defense. It's damn good, but you got to be able. to win
their biggest thing is the offense.
They've got the number 1 rated defense in the country. They're holding teams under 12 points on average. Holding teams under 12. Okay, crazy.
That's insane.
Defense wins championships is a 20-year-old expression. You have to be able to go score 30 points to give yourself a chance. And I don't think they can score 30 points against a lot of people in this thing.
No, hey, you make a great point. It comes down to their offense. Because I'm just trying to think. I'm like, dude, they're good. Like, they're good. Like, they're not just going to show up to Tennessee and, like, roll over. I have people telling me alternate spread a touchdown for Tennessee. I'm like, you're insane.
Let's go straight to that game then. We'll come back to Texas Clemson. Let's talk that game right now.
Tennessee, Ohio State?
Yeah, because you and me now are on the opposite sides. I've actually flipped. I'm now going with
flipped. I didn't even see this. I just scrolled down. Now I see you flipped.
And now, and to be honest, I don't know that it lasts.
No, hey, all valid. Go. I mean, because I feel like I'm the only Buckeye.
And so here's the thing: Tennessee's front versus Ohio State O-line. I think advantage Tennessee front, which means you got to throw the ball to beat these guys. And now we're getting a quarterback game. I don't know. Give me Nico, obviously, in that deal. And then also, I don't see any pressure on Tennessee or Heupel. I don't think anyone there saw a national championship coming this year. First year under Nico, bounce back year for them. And all of a sudden they fucked around. Now they're here. I think they're coming into this very free. And I think Ohio State could be coaching for their lives. Hard to imagine they'd fire Ryan Day, but I promise you, this last offseason, he was hot going into that. They asked him what he needs for support to ensure that they're playing for national championships and beat Michigan. They got $20 million in NIL funding. They handpicked their roster, and they got beat by Michigan. And you might get launched from the first round of the playoffs, and you got issues. So that being said, if this game is close and we get to a fourth quarter game, that's one team's having fun playing loose. One team is fucking having problems.
Yeah. And it depends. I mean, if we're talking spread, we think this is a 1 possession game. So you might as well take the +7.
So my thought was either Ohio State's beating the shit out of them at home. They'll get up early. Their defense versus Nico is going to be their front. This is the best defense Tennessee's played all year, Georgia included. And Georgia held them to next to nothing. So if that's the case, then I think it's Ohio State by 8+. One of those weird deals where you trade the field goals and end up with the 8. But I think they cover the number. But if it's a close game and neither team are running the ball that effectively, and this comes down to the pass game, well, then I think it flips back to Tennessee. And if we're going to get a one-possession close game, I tend to lean Tennessee on this thing, even just to win outright.
Yeah.
And at least never put this 7 in jeopardy. At least we'll be trading where we get in a field goal game here. So this is why I've gone back to the Vols. It'll be interesting. The 3 other games have no consequences to that game, but it'll be interesting. I'll get a sense of what the fuck we're dealing with here, I think, when we start watching some of this football. Because I just don't know how tired these guys are going to be. We're playing home games, but they're fucking playoffs, and it's big time, and they've had this awkward amount of time off. Like, I don't know. I am so excited for it, but I've flipped on that one. I've gone Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Tennessee and Ohio State on, both teams have phenomenal running backs in this football game. Judkins and I think it's Henderson.
Henderson.
Yeah, those 2 for Ohio State, and Dylan Sampson, who's honestly, I feel like has kind of gotten overshadowed by some of the other star running backs. Like Gene T and Scatabo, but this kid for the SEC standards has had a freaking hell of a season. He will definitely be good on Sundays.
A Sunday guy.
Yeah. But
we'll be posting to the story on that one.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, 'cause that one's tough.
That one's tough.
My gut tells me Ohio State. I'm gonna be honest. I'm still Ohio State.
On the cover of the 7 too.
On the cover of the 7 too. Because I just have a feeling. I mean, Io Malieva, if that's his name, I can't. I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a SoCal kid, goes to Tennessee, and now he's going to like 10 degrees at the shoe. I mean,
and they got beat by Arkansas this year, a team that stopped their run and created problems for him defensively. That's why I originally went Ohio State. I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs around, going through Tennessee's schedule, going, God damn.
I mean, they play real. Yeah.
And I'm like, I just fired.
And it's tough because you just think Ohio State's like that defense is going to at least punch them in the mouth a few times in the first half. Like it's going to be, they're good.
It's a big time Big Ten SEC game. I'll tell you.
I know.
The constant battle of who owns football right there.
I'm going to be honest, Jack. We could debate this till game time. We can go. Yeah, let's move on. Clemson, Texas. I'm still Clemson's points.
So this is the clip we put out there, dude, where we're blowing Cade Klubnik and getting all excited about Clemson. This one, we're taking the shorts a little bit over there, but I will not flinch, Lance.
I will not either.
Clemson. So here's my thing. Clemson is far and away the best team Texas has played this year, not named Georgia. Mind you, they're 0-2 against this Georgia team. So this Clemson win would be the best win they've had all year. The next 2, we're talking Vanderbilt. They won by 3. Talking Texas A&M. They won by 10, 17-7.
Yeah.
So we're getting 12 for Clemson. I know we have to go to Austin here, but we got Cade Klubnik, the Austin kid. We got a defense that's going to create at least enough problems, probably do enough to stop their run game and not get mowed down, which is going to mean Quinn Ewers is going to have to be the one to beat you. And Quinn Ewers, with his mobility issues, I think they can get to him and create some problems in there. This is a game, not only is Clemson going to cover the 12, this game might get a little hairy for Texas going into the 4th. We might see Arch Manning officially become the guy. This might be the last time Quinn Ewers gets in a Texas jersey. If Arch Manning becomes the guy, does Quinn Ewers not jump in that portal?
Oh, so tell me this, world. Arch Manning becomes the guy and they win. Does Ewers play it out or does he just jump portal and leave?
I gotta look up the dates because this portal window might.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he had the opportunity. That would be unbelievable. That would
every game from here now though too is like the old playoffs where it's the bowl sites, right? So they do the big sponsorships. Mm-hmm. You go out 5 days before. You do the big dinners. You get the swag packs, all that sort of stuff. But it's also media days with that stuff. So you want to go be Quinn Ewers having to fucking answer those questions after you get benched after this game? Holy shit. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I got the flu, coach. I'll see you in the locker room.
Hey, how about this about Texas? Okay. I just went through, we've been basically coming after everyone's wins, right? Put
Mm-hmm.
Florida on that list as well as a decent team that they beat. They beat them when they were just the shit bowl. But imagine here, Lance, if Texas had Oklahoma's path this year. Listen to these teams Oklahoma had to go through: Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Tennessee. Is Texas in this playoff if they have Oklahoma's schedule?
Wow, I didn't realize how tough Oklahoma had it. No, Jack, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
That's it. That's that. I never realized Oklahoma had to go through such a gauntlet.
12's a ton, man. Texas probably wins this game, but Clemson is going to make them prove it, dude.
Hey, David Smirling in the chat says Clemson plus 12.5. Sprinkle in a little on the money line as well. Ewers has been looking trash lately. I mean, David, you're just our guy. We said it earlier in the show that you're our guy. I'm telling you one more time, you're our guy.
David, does your middle name start with a D? Or your initials DDS? Can we just start calling you the dentist?
DDS. That was pretty good.
Doctor of Dental Science, baby.
Yeah. That was pretty good. Right off the top of the head, too. That's pretty good. It's just tough. Because you did see Clemson just get absolutely dog walked in their first game against Georgia. It's the only thing that stings in the back of the head.
And they got beat by South Carolina at Clemson in a game they had to win. Then they had to get bailed out basically by Miami. But that was a game they had to win right there against South Carolina. But if you go back and watch that South Carolina game, Clemson shot themselves in the foot multiple times. And they got the ball on the 15-yard line going in with 16 seconds left with a timeout, 2nd and 10. They roll out, kind of a shitty ball thrown behind Maffa. He tips it up, gets picked, game over. That game was going to overtime at the very least, and Clemson was going to get at least 2, maybe 3 throws at the end zone had it not been for that moment. So I think if Clemson wins that game, we completely rethink this whole thing. And South Carolina was an SEC team as hot as anybody, went 9-3, was as hot as anybody late in the year, and Clemson had them fucking dead to rights. They just choke it on a fluke play. 12's a ton. Dude.
I love the Clemson play. I mean, I'm in on Clemson's like that. It's Clemson. Clemson's the call.
And we're not doing the bullshit NFL, so-and-so won their division. So now the Patriots are playing the Texans and it's a 14-point spread. And we're like, but come on, it's a playoff game. We got a good NFL. No. That's not what this is here. This isn't the Georgia beating TCU by 63-7. This is fucking comparable teams here. Comparable teams.
Nope. Yep. You're right. I love the Clemson play. I mean, the Tennessee Ohio State one, that's tough. And it's crazy that the line is +7. It almost makes me want to take Tennessee, but I'm holding strong because I do think it's Ohio State. But +7. And then Clemson, Texas, +12. I mean, I think I've seen it change, but like these lines are massive. And is it Vegas trying to tell us something, or is it because Vegas doesn't even know?
Vegas does not know. These are lost lines. These are not going to be like. I think I just don't know. I don't think they know though, because I think we're so fucked up on trying to find how to do the transfer property across conferences. I just think that we just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, dude, with everything of like all the kids flooding NIL, the conferences being all whacked up, conference championship games meaning too much or too little for some people and whatever. There's chaos in college football, but my God, I'm still very much engaged. I'm very much entertained, and this might be either one or two on best sports on earth.
100%. We've hit an hour 15 mark. We want to get to our picks for the weekend because I want to throw my FCS picks out here really quick.
Yeah. I'll just rip Sunday locks real quick right here. Back to the NFL.
Let me get my FCS guys.
You're first? I was just going to put, you're good. You go.
I want my FCS guys. No one's going to watch these two games, but they're two really good games. If you find yourself with a chance to go back and watch them, please do. South Dakota State at North Dakota State. I was North Dakota State this whole week, and I finally talked to my guy who's true blue FCS homie. He's coached at North Dakota State, coached at Montana. He's coached at Dickinson State, for God's sakes. The guy knows small town football. And he said, as much as he's rooting for the Bison this week, it's South Dakota State, and it's going to be pretty easy. We're going to get a good game up front, but South Dakota State's going to end up winning this game by a touchdown. Said take the Jackrabbits and trust it. I'm liking it. I don't care what's going to be happening in the Fargo Dome. We're taking the Jackrabbits and we're rolling with the Jacks. Next one, South Dakota +8 at Montana State. This is Bozeman's season. Brett Vegan's going to get a better job. If it's not this year, it's going to be the following year. Tommy Mellott at quarterback is an absolute dog, one of the more athletic players in all of college football, let alone this. Little bit undersized white kid. This kid's going to end up being Julian Edelman in the NFL. Watch out. Watch out. Tommy Mellott, I believe in him. I hate the cats. I hate the kittens. I hate the entire town of Bozeman. I'm a Grizz, baby, but taking the kittens this weekend to cover the -8, no problem. And that's it. That's all I wanted. I just wanted those on the books.
Hey, no, I love it. I love it. I just didn't know if you were ready to go. Dude, what is there no other comp? Julian Edelman. That's really what we got to do here. It's just white guy on white guy.
It's a former white quarterback that got converted into a wide receiver. That's all I'm saying. His being white has nothing to do with it. It was a quarterback convert. That's the key thing.
I'm just messing with you. All right, Lance's Sunday picks. Folks, there's a couple contrarian picks from the old heads. There's a couple of my own. The two contrarians that I took were Panthers at home against the Cardinals +5. I don't think Kyler wants any part of the cold. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals really have that much fight left in them this season. I think, they did pretty well, and, they'll go to the draft and get better for next season, but I think their season's not going into the postseason. So I like Panthers +5. Give me Bryce Young. Next one, Titans +3.5 at Colts. Divisional game, indoor. And the Titans, they're not one of those teams playing for the number one pick and tanking necessarily. They're still trying to get wins on their belt. So I think they play tough, and I don't think the Colts beat them by more than a field goal. So give me the Titans +3.5. Next, Lions -6.5 at Bears. Lions are coming off a loss to the Bills where everything on offense was clicking, but defense was struggling. And the Bears... Man, the Bears are hopeless. They're moving on next year. They got like one of the passing game coordinator all the way up as the head guy now. So I like Lions in a bounce back game, beat the shit out of the same division Bears. Next, Seahawks +3 versus Vikings. This is a bounce back game at home for Seattle. I know Geno, he was hurt a little in that last game. We had to see some of Sam Howell. But they're very much in this the NFC's playoff hunt, not only wild card, but still the NFC West division, as they're tied at 8-6 with the Rams right now. Notice I left them off. I don't want to curse my own team. And then last but not least, Eagles -3.5 at Commanders. So wow, Jack, all year we've been on the Commanders side, but this late in the season, I think the Eagles still own this division. And yeah, I mean, it was a great year for the Commanders. They outperformed their expectations, but the spotty defense is going to be exposed by this stacked Eagles roster. I mean, they're still really good. They still got a lot of players. So I like them to cover the 3.5. And those are the Sunday locks. Booyah. Go ahead.
I like Eagles, your last one there, the most. I think that's the best take here. Eagles coming off the win, too. I feel like they've kind of been criminally underrated this whole year because there's been a lot of noise and all this. But yeah, remember, they held the Ravens to like nothing. Justin Tucker missed 2 field goals in that game, but like they held the Ravens to like 12 until they drove down and scored late in that game. So Eagles have been overachieving. That defense is legit. I think the Commanders offensively are going to really struggle. Especially the Eagles are built for the rushing quarterback. I mean, they run fucking well in the linebackers and up front. So love the Eagles -3.5, my favorite bet on your board. Then you took 4 teams that lost last week and a couple that I'm almost ready to bail on. So bear with me here. Seahawks +3. That was buns last week. That was absolutely buns versus the Packers. I realize the Packers are probably better than I was giving them credit, but that was a hell of a spot for the Seahawks. That sucked. Everything about that sucked. But even before the Geno Smith injury, we were in trouble in that game.
Yeah.
And Sam Howell gave me nothing. So I worry about the Seahawks in the spot. The Vikings now find themselves, after winning against the Bears, the Vikings could fuck around and still get this 1 seed.
Yeah.
They're up again. They still get to play the Lions, and Lions are 11-2. Like, watch out right there. That's an interesting thing to keep eyes on. So I don't know. I struggle, but I will say the Vikings on the road versus Vikings at home have been a different team. I'm not going to talk you out of it, but that one I put an asterisk next to. Lions minus 6.5 at the Bears. Lions coming off the loss, easiest money of the. That's so good. It's sick. The need a bounce back game on defense. You heard Dan Campbell in his post game presser talking about how he didn't have these guys ready to play. That they're officially hitting playoff mode. The next game the Lions lose will be late in the playoffs or the Super Bowl, or perhaps not at all. Perhaps they just run the table. Defense doesn't look good enough, but this is the game for the Lions defense to get right. A time for the go ahead.
KG Little Joe's real quick. He says Bears going to cover this week. Bears 3-0 against the spread on games that he attends, and he will be there this weekend. KG Little Joe's, your curse is over. The Bears are going 3-1 against the spread. I'm still, the Lions seem like too easy to play. I mean, a bounce back game after that game. Yeah, keep going, Jack.
Couple little injury things to keep eyes on. That obviously they lose Montgomery for the season. They lose another key defensive lineman for the season. So Lions do have to get right here, but this is the game to get right on. I never see this game being inside 10 points after the first quarter. Titans plus 3.5 at Colts. Love that one. Titans head coach had to take a press conference this week and got asked a question about the perception that his team is soft. And it turned in one of the great rants of the sports calendar. It's fucking awesome. So this is a locker room that wants to go. I believe it's the second time they're playing the Colts this year. So you get the interesting look at them. Yes, you have to go on the road. And yes, the Colts have to win this week. But Titans defense versus Anthony Richardson, I really like that matchup for the Titans. And can their offense just get their fucking act together and not fuck around too much? Can Will Levis just go put it together for 4 quarters? That's the great question mark. But I think I would not be on the Colts. I'd be laying off, or I'd be taking your Titans. I like your spot. Might be thinking about a teaser for the Titans, but we know how I feel about teasers. And then Panthers plus 5 versus the Cards. Kyler did have that weird press conference about that. I will say the Cardinals got no chance from anybody this year. They were thinking they were going to be drafted in the top 5 this year. They've definitely overachieved, and they're still very much alive to win their division. It'll be interesting. Is because one of these teams between the Cards, Seahawks, and Rams has to, either put their chips in or get the fuck out. And I'll be interested. This week, we're going to start finding out. I think it's the Rams to the playoffs, so I don't hate your narrative that the Panthers give the Cardinals some issues here and possibly even win that game. I kind of wanted off the. I bought myself on the Panthers last week to play the Cowboys. They get their ass fucking smoked. But they've been a weird team all year, and they somehow are not discouraged by losing because they know they're not ready anyway. So maybe they bounce back and they play well this week, and home game and cold and all that stuff. Let's go.
Yeah, the Panthers one, I mean, dude, they should have beat the Eagles. That's like, they had it right there. So I'm like, they can play. As much as I love and especially in the beginning of the year, to clown the Panthers and just being like, these guys just can't play. They're actually pretty, They can make some moves. And a team like the Cardinals, I do genuinely believe their season's over. I don't think they make a push for the playoffs. I think they lose here. Another disappointing ending for Kyler, who's had so far in his NFL career, it's just been disappointing towards the end of the season. That's what he shows us. I think it happens again. So,
you know what? Very great take. Something we didn't bring up. Kyler late in the season and playoffs is yet to be good. So
yet to be good. Yet to be good. So we'll see. Those are the Sunday locks. I
think that was the Wanna Parlay podcast right there, Lance.
Yeah, I think it was too. Appreciate everyone for joining, support everyone in the chat, all you viewers. You guys are legends. I love all of you. Jack,
KG, the dentist, the good folks, all time. Congrats to Longlegs and Dialed Picks. Couple winners of the Pick 5. Longlegs came in first and second on that. Took home $375. Trucking Fast 88, first time in the winner's circle. Congratulations, my dude, winning $375 of himself in the Pick 4. Parlay Royale is wide open. Someone better go get busy. It's $1,000 getting offered every night. The main event, I'm so sorry. If you feel like taking a $2 swing at $2,000, it's still worth it to me. But holy shit, did Longlegs change the game over there? Just good advice. If you're making bets this weekend, go over to his profile and see what he's doing. The man is hot. And then reminder, VIP contest is open and is going to remain open until Christmas Day. hell of a number out there you got to chase right now, 196.85 multiplier. But the value of this trip is 10 grand and then some. You're getting you and a buddy, flights, hotels, sweet tickets at Wrigley Field to see the Winter Classic play out and outdoor in Wrigley, beers at Headliners before, drunk at KG's, Little Joe's afterward. Like really as good a trip you could get for a price of on the house, for a price of $2 to enter. So absolutely slingshot 10 or 20 of those bets this weekend. See if you can't go buy them. It is more than worth it. As always, the show is brought to you by the good folks of Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay, and the world's richest parlay, where every day, not every week, every day, people are turning $2 into 2 grand and walking out the door with it. Just as dialed picks, we'll keep you posted, but the man's going to go to 20 grand here this weekend. Exciting, exciting stuff. We have fun. We'll be poking in a little bit over the holidays, but be back on our regular schedule once we get through the New Year's. We'll probably do some highlight episodes, some emergency press conferences when we go talk. Yeah.
Well, we won't leave you guys out too dry. We'll definitely hop back in. I know Jack's going to be traveling and on the road, but I will be, for the most part, in my same place. So I'll be able to go live and I'll bring him. You know, he might be on a plane. He might be on a train. He'll join in and let us know his thoughts. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time. Just check our socials. We'll definitely have stream times on there. And, you know, thanks for tuning in. Salute. See ya.